Jesse Donoy, and I'm here interviewing Mayor candidate Sam Cunningham. Nice to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Okay, first question. What's a mayor's job, especially for the new upcoming voters that just turned 18 and they're anxious to get their vote out, to have their voices heard? Like, what's a mayor do?
Well, the mayor's position he is the salesperson for the city.
Okay.
His job is to be the cheerleader for the city of Waukegan.
Okay.
On top of that, he is responsible, or she is responsible, for the day-to-day operations of city government. Your water bills, your public works, your police department, your fire department, and in other aspects of city government, the mayor is the leader when it comes to that. He or she typically has the final word.
Okay.
Obviously, he delegates a lot of his responsibility to his personnel, to his staff, but that's his responsibility, to direct the day-to-day operations of city government. And I think this is the most critical part is he is the salesman. He is the cheerleader for the city.
The president of Waukegan.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's a good phrase, the president of Waukegan.
How do you plan to increase the revenue of Waukegan without adding further burden to taxpayers?
Well, I mean, one thing, we hear about don't raise taxes, and obviously that's not our goal to raise anyone's tax. However, what we are finding in today's society that provide the services that that the city expects, two, that have been provided over the last, I'm 46 years of age, over the last 46 years of my lifetime, there's a cost associated with that.
Okay.
What I think our residents really look for is, if you are going to be raising our taxes, either tell us what those monies are going to be used for, or show me what it's going to be used for. So to say we're not going to raise taxes, I don't think any mayor, any governor, any president walks into office with the expectation of trying to increase, meaning taking tax dollars away from its constituency in order to put back into government. But the fact of the matter is, that is essential ingredient to running the city operations.
Okay.
Let's talk about what the taxes are, or how we generate income. We generate income through property taxes, sales taxes, and last but not least, what the government gives us back. Now, we don't have a product that we sell. We don't sell Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Tide. We don't sell anything which gives them the luxury of increasing the cost of those items. What we do sell is the service that we have. Your police service, one of the best in the country. Fire department, what they bring to what we call our first responders. Having those two ingredients, two components to your city services is essential, critical to your day-to-day operations. Your public works, your water department, your building department, your records department, all of these things are part of that. Every dollar that we get in, we have to pay each and one of those department heads down to the frontline employees.
They have to eat too.
I mean, essentially, they do the job of providing service to the city. We then have to compensate them for those things.
Okay.
How can we reduce or keep our expenses low? We can keep our expenses low or lower by streamlining operations. There are some operations that just are not needed anymore.
Such as?
From a city government standpoint, do we need 5 people in the records department and another 5 people in the building department? Or could we get 7 people cross-training to do both, which will reduce the personnel and then still provide the service that's needed in order to perform the operations of the city? These are the kind of things we need to get into. I think we got really, really blindsided, or should I say, stuck in, this is my job, this is all I need to do. No. Cross-train, increase your knowledge on what you can and cannot do. These are the kind of things that can help you reduce your costs. So those are the kind of things we're going to be utilizing and going to as years to come.
Last year, was 2013 now. 2011, there was a tax, a 1% tax for food and I believe soft drinks.
Yeah, there was a sales tax that I put on there.
Okay. Do you plan to revoke that?
Well, I mean, the services, it goes back to services now.
Okay.
What I will do is this. I don't believe in nickel and diming our community. Like you might have a $20 fee for this or $15 fee for that. I would like to see us do away with those type of nagging fees. I also would like to see us reduce that $20 parking ticket down to $10. Why? I want us to be easy to do business with in the city of Waukegan. And what I mean by that, when a person comes in a restaurant, they spend $10 to $15 at a restaurant. I don't need their minds to be set on paying that quarter meter and being so worried about getting that $20 ticket. I want you to enjoy the environment in Waukegan, downtown Waukegan, or throughout the rest of our city. So let's eliminate that. Keep the sales tax where it's at, and if not, bump that up a little bit to do what? Bring in the dollars that's necessary in order to provide the services that we need, and maybe and hopefully others that we're going to identify as we move on in our administration. I think that's good government.
Okay. You said one of the police force. In Waukegan, we have a lot of, how do I phrase this? It's not, like, I guess personally as a citizen, I find that when I walk down the streets, I tend to hear that people don't really trust the police. How do we create more trust with the police communication? Because
I think what is really has happened with the Waukegan Police Department and all the police departments throughout this country.
Okay.
We have had some officers throughout the country and maybe throughout our city that has done some things that has led to the mistrust of the public. But we simply can't allow our citizens not to have trust with our police department for many different reasons. What we will do as mayor, and I think, and I understand with other mayors in the past, if we've identified officers who has jeopardized that trust with the public, they must be dealt with immediately. We cannot allow them to become a cancerous cell where they continue to operate within our community with that type of mentality. We can't.
Okay.
Because what does it do? It endangers the relationship that the citizens will now perceive to be. Because at the end of the day, if your mother, your brother, your family has a problem, we're going to expect for that officer to come on the scene and resolve that issue. That's just fact. So what we will do, we will strengthen our processes in the event for our citizens to say, if you have a complaint on a particular officer, get it to us. We're going to address it. We're going to be forceful. And he or she has, jeopardized that or has done something to cause that perception or that belief to carry on, then we got some serious issues there. So one of the things I'm going to be very vocal on with our police personnel, treat the citizens like you want to be treated. Because if you don't, you're going to have to deal with me. And that's just bottom line.
Okay, so there's no taking care of their own when it comes out of the police. It's you get rid of the cancers like right away.
And we can't do that.
Okay.
I mean, we cannot afford to have people thinking that our officers are not trustful, they're biased in their opinion, they don't care, etc. Because I'm gonna tell you that I beg to differ on that. So that's kind of where I'm at on that position.
What's the deficit of Waukegan at the moment? And how do you plan to reduce
Well,
that?
You know, what is our deficit? Right now, our deficit was $104 million. That means, when I say deficit, not deficit, debt.
Okay.
We've been operating in a positive from a deficit standpoint. A deficit simply means our budget is about 162 million. Of the 162 million, I think 94 million of that is bond debt. People we owe. The other is money that comes into the city, used to operate city government. My plan for our budget is basically to get to a balanced budget, see where we're at. From a debt standpoint, our debt is a little bit different. We've taken on $27 million, I think, is a 2003 bond. That was for the Genesee Theater. Well, another portion of our debt is $11 million in a case in which we were sued on. We were sued for $9 million. We lost. We chose to fight that, appeal that. In the process of appealing that, the judge said, well, fine, you can appeal it, but you're going to put $9 million in the bank, gain X amount of interest. We lost the appeal, so we had to pay that money out. And that's because of a young man who was wrongly convicted, according to the DNA. Once he got the $9 million, once he had the $9 million, we had to go get a bond to pay that money off.
Okay.
So, luckily, this is point of reduction. We were insured at the time. So our insurance company paid that for us, so we were able to pay that off.
Oh, I didn't know there was insurance for that.
Yeah, well, the city was insured.
Okay.
It was a liability claim. Because they said we did it on purpose. We didn't do it on purpose. The court just found us on purpose. There's another $30 million of debt, which is called working cash fund. That means we bonded $30 million in order to have working cash, because we didn't have the money that we took in versus the expense that we had. There was no money there to do simple work. So we got that bond, working cash fund. The other, the other monies, what was that for? It escapes me right now. Well, anyway, there was $30 million for that, there was another $7 million for something else. But those are bonds. Those are things that it costs to operate the city, but we didn't have money, so we bonded that out. How can we reduce that debt? By paying off those bonds. How do we pay off those bonds? You pay off the bonds by either increasing the amount of income that comes into the city, or you increase, people's property tax to do it. But fortunately, we're not going to do that. Fortunately, for the money that we come in, and for the bonds that we have, and the money that we pay into those bonds, what we generate is enough to pay the interest right now. So just keep them on the books.
Okay.
The goal is not to have any more debt.
And that's our short-term goal. But eventually, in the long term, the short term becomes a long term. So what's your long-term goal to eventually get at a green?
Well, we pay into these bonds every year.
Okay.
So you just pay it, and there's a scale that you have to pay on.
Okay.
We just continue to pay into these bonds. The goal, the trick is not to put ourselves in a position where we have to bond out again, particularly for items that are unexpected, like this Dominguez case. We didn't expect $11 million. Working cash fund. We didn't expect us to not to have no money to do, so we had to have that. That's going to be the trick for us over the next 10 to 15, 20 years. And that's where understanding what our liabilities are, our obligations are, versus how much income that comes in. We need to be very conscious of that. It's going to take us about 2 or 3 years to really jump out of that.
Okay. So what?
Yeah, this is the longer we can spread that debt out, the better off we are.